Greetings, Sanbonani. Hello, this is Zakes here, and this week we'll be talking about the rule of law, but we'll be talking about it from a very real, perspective. What is it, and how does it affect, particularly our relationship with our political leaders in terms of holding them accountable? Right? We always talk about this concept of the rule of law, particularly if you follow a lot of our work here at the Free Market Foundation. But today we want to contextualize it within a scenario that a lot of South Africans will be familiar with, right? That is commissions of inquiries. Now, how do commissions of inquiries impact the rule of law? As you know, commissions of inquiries, the most recent one, the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture, are usually vehicles, bodies, or institutions, or temporary organizations, if you want to call them that are used, right, to investigate the wrongdoings of politicians. At the very least, the most recent one was used for that particular matter. But if you were to look at your ordinary life, if you are suspected of doing wrong, if I'm suspected of doing wrong, no commission of inquiry is set up to look into my behavior. The SAPS investigates my behavior, and the NPA decides to prosecute if there's enough evidence that has been gathered. Yet seemingly, for one would think the most egregious, right, of crimes, crimes that involve the misappropriation of our tax funds that we work hard for to part with every month or every year with SARS, would get the most attention from the bodies that investigate everyone. But instead, there's this vehicle called a commission of inquiry that is in most cases used, and I would posit, for our leaders, our political leaders, to escape accountability, to not face the music, if so were, just like any ordinary citizen would. And this touches at the heart of the rule of law, which primarily says that our leaders are supposed to be subject to the same rules and laws as we are. No one is above them. Now, as we all know, commissions of inquiries, without getting too, technical about it, these are institutions, if you were to call them that get their powers from the Constitution. Particularly, the president is the one who has the power to appoint a commission of inquiry. So if you were to think about this, the president is the head of the executive, the leader of every government department. And if there's a government department suspected of doing wrong, the president is the one who usually appoints the commission of inquiry. The most recent one was, initiated by former President Jacob Zuma, and the chairman was appointed by him, the person who will head the commission of inquiry, to investigate, as we are now seeing, himself, right? Even though you may think that the results of the commission of inquiry, are viable, are great, I don't think so. But you have to agree that there is a certain conflict of interest happening there when the executive sets up a body to inherently investigate itself. I think many who are reasonable should ask, why shouldn't investigations be handled by the institutions that normally handle investigations, particularly when it comes to criminal conduct, as was the case in the state capture inquiry? The reason that isn't the case, I would posit, is because vehicles like commissions of inquiries, irrespective of the intentions that they may have, been drafted for, are used to escape accountability because their recommendations are not a court judgment. They cannot send anyone to jail. They cannot get redress, get recourse. So even though the institution itself stems from a legal text like the Constitution, it leads to unjust outcomes whereby me, if I do wrong, I get prosecuted. Politician, if they do wrong, they get a recommendation to do better from a commission of inquiry, which to me really does not seem like the most just of outcomes and undermines the core of what the rule of law aims to achieve. And this is a foundational feature of our constitutional democracy here in South Africa. So, in conclusion, the main case against, commissions of inquiries for myself is that they undermine the rule of law. Not only that, since they undermine the rule of law, they are an inherent duplication of duties that already there are institutions established to perform those duties like investigation and prosecution, meaning that they are a huge waste of taxpayer money. I'm sure we all know how much the most recent state capture commission of inquiry cost. It cost upwards into the billions, right? Those are tax funds that could be used in a variety of ways. As we all know, the South African state is in need of funds at all times. I would say all states are, but especially ours, right? Given our debt obligations, our social services, and everything like that. And yet we spend all this money on duplicating institutions that we already have. Most importantly, that money could be used and channeled to the SAPS, channeled to our court system, capacitate them so that they have the ability to deal with whatever manner of criminal infraction that is happening in society. Yeah, that will be it from us this week. Please, as always, do tell us what you think. Do you dislike commissions of inquiries as much as I do? I think that they are kangaroo courts, right? As I said, they enable politicians to escape accountability. Maybe you think that they are a necessary evil. Maybe you think that politicians and our leaders should be subject to different rules than we are. Whether you disagree or agree, please give us your thoughts down below, and always remember to stay free.